Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gon' talk, we gon' have fun. We be on fire, we be lit. It's a unique hustle.
Check it. It's a unique hustle. It's your boy, ECO, and I'm here with the lovely, amazing, outstanding, official Miss Jamaica. What's going on?
Nothing, you know my day all going. I want y'all to stop what you're doing right now. Go like, subscribe, follow us from all social media platforms. When I mean all, I mean our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it. We're on it. Just Google us, Boss Talk Podcast 101. We'll pop up first in line, I guarantee you. But let me tell you, y'all see us on the street and talk about, man, I love what y'all doing. Keep up the good work. How can we be a part of Boss Talk 101? This is how you can be a part of Boss Talk. Under each and every video, including this one right here in the description section below, there's a link that says join our membership. Click that link, follow all the instructions, and that's how you can be a part of Boss Talk 101. Be an exclusive customer. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.
Man, listen, we got a guy in here today, guys. Again, he don't need no introduction. This is family. This guy right here, man, and did things that, you know, I aspired to do and be, because he's done things with our people that a lot of people pass by. The word of God say I was sick and I was in prison and you didn't visit me. This guy right here been visiting people. You know what I'm saying? Bossman Brewster, the big reform movement is in the building.
I swear.
Say, man, listen, man, for real, I meant that. You've been visiting people and doing what you're supposed to do, and it line up with what I believe in, man. So thank you, bro.
Oh,
you know
man,
what I'm saying?
love, man. You know, we push that big reform.
For sure.
That's what we do. We push big reform, all across the country.
I've been, like I said, I've been noticing you, man. You hadn't slowed down for sure, and you've been getting more aggressive. You know what I mean? You've been traveling. When I'm traveling and he traveling, you know that nigga going. You know what I'm saying? If I call and I'm in Vegas and he in New York, we doing what we supposed to be doing. We did that. You don't remember that, did you?
Yes, sir. I do. I remember that right now.
Do you still have the trucking company?
Yeah, we still pushing the.
How you have time to do both?
So if you need me for them trucks to be moving, we ain't got no real business. Them trucks should be on autopilot. They should just be moving. All we need to do is send the loads. I specialize in hot shot trucking in them containers. I specialize in it.
So hot shot containers, you carry any and everything, or is only certain things y'all carry?
So we only want to specifically carry them containers. I don't want to carry nothing but them containers, empty containers.
Empty containers.
Correct.
So it's not no goods, hazard materials,
None of that.
Just them containers.
Empty containers, tilt bed trailers. We deliver them all over the country.
Okay.
I tell people, I mess with the semis, but my bread and butter is them hot shots.
Do individuals order those? Because those are the same containers people use to build homes too?
Correct. You can build a home. You can build an office. People use them for storage. People use them for feeding out in their land. You can use them for a variety of different things.
Have you seen them homes?
Oh, yeah. I done delivered homes.
That's so dope, the way how they can convert that into actually, they'll stack them up on top each other and make it into a home. I think that's so dope.
You could turn a 40-foot container into a 2-bedroom home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the man who taught me the game, that's where I learned it from. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we deliver homes, storages, shelters. I done put them in the ground for people to have storage underground. They call them weather.
For storm protection. I know what you're talking about.
Put them in the ground. Yeah. But we done did that. So that's my bread and butter.
And that's every day you get loads.
Monday through Fridays, all over the country.
And people always ordering those.
All over this country, Monday through Fridays. Somebody need to move them containers. My thought process is, why not Brewster?
Wow. I think it's something, man, just for you to stay focused and then to bring people along with you. That's what I like. You know what I mean? Because when you look at a lot of these people, man, and I know you done hit some bumps in the road too, you know, people dealing with your equipment, all kind of stuff, don't know how to handle the truck. And I tell my wife a lot of times, and my daughter and kids, hey man, there's an ex-con driving that 18-wheeler, man. Back up.
Always say that.
Back up. You don't want to ride on that truck, man. I was locked up with some of them niggas. They don't need, some of them niggas, they might lose it at any minute.
But believe it or not, you'll be surprised at the amount of individuals I've fallen out with behind my trucks or my brand, or, you know, I've fallen out with a great deal of people behind them feeling like I should do something according to how they see fit versus me doing what I see fit for what's best for me and my company. So yeah, you'd be surprised at the amount of people that's happened with. But you know, you learn to grow. It comes with it. It's a part of success. I call it the learning curve, growing pains.
How many of them containers can y'all pull at one time?
One. You could put 2 20s on there, or you could put one long 40.
Okay, so it's on. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, recently I had BG on the show, and there was a big reform conversation going on. You know what I'm talking about? And
shout out to my boy Jizzle, man. Freedom of speech.
Man, listen, man, that dude, man, the whole energy changed when we brought up your name in a good way, to where it became a thing. Like, oh man, like when I was you seen the interview, and it's like, damn, like Bruce, you was working, and what made you just send him books like that?
So I'm always looking for a creative, unique way to get the brand out there. And I'm sitting up one day, and in my mind, I'm like, who's best to read the books than the individuals that's inside the institutions? So I looked up every rapper or superstar that got some type of, weight in the streets. I looked them up and sent them copies of my books. If you in prison, I don't care if you're a superstar or not, if you in prison and you get some mail or some books, you gonna read that mail.
For sure.
Book. If you in prison, and Jill was somebody that did 12, 13 years, so he gonna read them.
He read them and told me he read both of them, because first he sent me 2 books,
Yeah.
So it was dope to see that he had, read those books and that it inspired him. And that's what he's expressed. And I think that's something that God confirms you with. That's confirmation that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You helping people out, bro.
It's crazy you say that, because it's a such thing as God blessing effort. And I tell people, when I did that with Jizzle, that was just me shooting my shot. You know what I'm saying? You know how many people I done that for, and they never acknowledged me.
That's real.
So the fact that Jizzle even took out the time to acknowledge it, I was like, see, that's why I knew he was solid.
Man, I tell him, and see that picture up there? That's before he went to prison up there. When we standing there, he got his arm on my shoulder. Mm-hmm. And that nigga went all the way down. He was having a good time that day. But his energy and his attitude and the politeness of a guy who he is didn't change. I mean, he was for the people before he left, bro.
Yeah, I will say this, since he been home, you see the elevation, you see the growth, the maturity, mindset. And, Jizzle come from that in real time. When you got partners who really dead and partners who really got life sentences, it'll begin to touch you in a different kind of way. A lot of these dudes who be rapping or talking that talk, they ain't really, got no partners that they done seen get their head blew off, or they done really been involved in that type of lifestyle. I like to tell people, if you really come from this lifestyle and God blesses you with the opportunity to get away, you're going to be doing everything you can to get away from that.
That's right. That's so right.
So did you ever send one to Meech?
I actually have, but I never, got a response or nothing like that.
Who else have you sent one to and actually got a response from?
Jill's the only one.
Really?
Yes, and
Wow.
I've sent those books to countless of individuals that's incarcerated.
That's crazy.
And as far as celebrities, yeah, countless of them.
But he the only one.
Blew my mind.
That's God.
That's
I thought I was tripping. That man came pulled up on me like that.
No, that's a real
dope,
no, ain't that dope? Mm-hmm. They tell you who he is. I already knew who he was. That's why I went right found it. Listen, I was determined to interview this dude.
Nah, Jill's a solid,
because I knew what I met. I knew what I seen that day, and I know that he for the streets. He even at the heart of the streets. You know what I'm saying?
The part I don't like about it is that they don't promote none of the positive stuff that bro do. Bro done been to the jails down there in New Orleans. I done took him into juvenile facilities.
He said that.
But you don't never hear nobody talking about the good that he do. It seems like the only thing they want to attach to the man is some negativity and some drama.
It's a society we live in.
Yeah, why we can't attach to his name all the positive stuff he doing? Same thing with Lil Kiki. It's several artists that rock with the big reform movement looking to do something positive, but nobody never talks about it. You know who talk about it? Boss Talk.
You better know it.
Boss Talk
post it.
Yeah, Boss Talk is the platform that discuss the positive that they do in the community.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they entertainers, they rappers, they got their fair share of issues or whatnot. Cool, we gonna air that out and we gonna discuss that. But why we not discussing when they taking out time to go into these juvenile facilities?
We talking about everything.
Yeah, let's talk about everything. I don't want to just paint this one picture. You know what I'm saying? That he's a rapper, it promotes negativity, it promotes this, that, and the other. Well, why we ain't talking about how this man just stopped what he was doing and spent half his day inside of a juvenile facility kicking it with him, telling him about his musical talents and telling them how they can be winners? Why we ain't talking about that?
That's real. No, you're absolutely correct, brother. And I want to say this, man. you reach out to those prisons and these people who going through stuff. Go Yayo is locked up, and you spoke when he was out, and he lost Get Money Lil Ronnie the other day, and I believe he said some real harsh stuff about when he get out, like it's going down. What could you say to a guy like that to encourage him to try to, level up, and or how would you speak to that situation?
Me being the individual who really done lost a brother to gun violence, me being somebody who really done lost homies in the streets, I got several RIP tattoos on me. Me being somebody who done really spent time in them institutions, really having partners with life sentences. The thing I be telling Go Yayo, man, everybody know you willing to die for him. When you gonna live for him?
Wow.
The whole world know you will die for him right now. Won't you live for him? I think we done lost enough. Because if he can come home and crash out, that's cool. You either going to get locked up or go to the graveyard. Either way, it's a loss.
Man, that's
my thing is, if it's my homeboy and it's his daughter, my thing is now I want to rep for him. Now I want their name and their legacy to live on, in a much stronger way, in a better way. I ain't finna come home and just do that. It's in vain.
Man, that's Bossman Brewster, guys. You look, you could have never answered that better, bro. You hit that on. That's why I know this. He the one, man. You got to understand when God put a special one in, and you answer that perfectly. That's the only way we can do something to help the situation, to help consult the one. Because I hear all the people got in my comments. I don't know how true it is, but they say Get Money Lil Ronnie, all his family gone. Like ain't nobody. That's what they told. I'm looking at the comments because I was doing a review, and it's like, dang, everybody gone. Well, what did you think when you seen that situation? Because I know you've seen this time and time again. What did you think about when you seen it?
And that little girl.
And the little girl.
It was so unfortunate. It was unfortunate, and I tell people, you see this shirt, we got to stop giving little homies bad game. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying we got to stop giving the little homies bad game. I'm willing to bet everything I got that when them boys stepped around that car wash to do this here, they had no intentions on harming that baby girl. They didn't even know that baby girl was right there.
That's what I thought.
But I tell people, when you live in that life, when you living like that, your intentions wasn't to do this, but anything can happen. Anything goes once we get in here to do this. You know what I'm saying? When I saw it, I said, that's what I'm talking about when I'm stressing to the homies. We got to stop giving little homies bad game. Them some kids that done that. Mm-hmm. So that lets me know whoever the big homies is, whoever it is they looking up to, that you failed them. Not only did you fail the two little boys who committed the crimes, but you failed the daughter, Lil Ronnie, and the community. You failed the community as a whole, because if these my two little homeboys, I'm making sure I'm telling them we don't do nothing goofy like that and just go around and go do. We don't do that. Innocent people done lost their lives countless of times.
Because they're not professionals. A professional gonna hit their target and go.
Well, my thing is, when you say professionals, they ain't even got that kind of drama and beef going on to where we hiring no professionals.
Right.
These are street games with real life consequences and penalties.
Wow.
These are street games. These are video games that these boys are playing, not realizing and snapping that it's real penalties behind this. Like that little girl getting killed, the great state of Texas just may very well give them the death penalty. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, I believe, and I could be wrong. Granted, I could be wrong. I don't know they situation. I don't really know the ins and outs. But for me being a street guy, a guy who really born and raised in Oak Cliff, somebody who really went to prison for doing these type of activities, they wasn't trying to harm that little girl.
No, I don't think so either.
And this is the breaker. When it hit breaking news, it shattered their world.
Mm-hmm. I got this. I got to ask this, because one thing I keep hearing about situations like this, when people have beefs, whether from this community to that community or whatever to cause the beef, it's usually said that, well, it's too much bloodshed for this to stop. You killed this homie, then I got to retaliate and stuff like that. What do you say to that kid when, say, it first jump off, that person come kill one of my homies and I feel like I gotta go retaliate? right? How do you stop that child from taking vengeance, or he killed my brother, I got to do something about it? How do you stop that from going to, okay, I'm killing him, then he gonna come back and kill someone, and that happens so many times. How do you stop that?
So we stop it by the little homies. So once blood, that's one of the reasons why it's so important for us to stop it before the blood is shed. Because once the blood is shed,
yes,
it is so hard to come back from that. So that meaning how this just done happened in the city with homie and his daughter. Then you just told me we got the guy coming home saying the dude that's coming home, he has to be mature enough to understand this ain't finna get me nowhere with me going over here doing this, continuing this here. It's only two outcomes in this: death or prison. Mm-hmm. What you proving? That's why I'm saying you will die for me, but you won't live for me. Wow. You willing to stand on business when it come to sliding and riding, but you won't stand on business and be the man that I need you to be, or the real partner, and help raise my son or my daughter, or to look out for the family, or things like that. Because when it's something real going on with the family, you gonna be locked up or dead.
Yeah, because he do have a son as well. You
see what I'm saying? My thing is, Brewster's thing is, it got to get to a point to where it got to make sense. My mama been to jail, I been to jail, my middle brother dead, and my baby brother been to jail. That's 4 different generations. So when does it stop? We got to start making it make a little sense, bro. It ain't even making sense at this point. We just blindly shooting people. And then when you find out what the nitty gritty of the beef is, the problem, it be something so miscellaneous, something that, one of the homies could have nipped in the bud if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. That's one of my issues with guys that I know got the influence and I know got the cachet. Man, all you got to do is say chill and they'll let that ride. Why continue to let it go on?
Yeah. Maybe because sometimes they don't hear about it till the blood shed.
Oh, no, they know about it.
They know about it.
They know about it. Ain't nothing moving like that without the homies knowing. When I was in prison, if something go on with my homeboys in this prison, I'm going to be the first person that's notified about it. If something happens with my partners in this prison facility. So I'm also someone that can be a reasoning ear, meaning if something happened, my voice is strong enough with my homeboys to where I can be like, hey, man, hold up before we do that, bro. Let's see what's really going on, man. Let's do this and let's do... My voice is that strong with them. Well, we have certain pillars in our community where they voice is that strong to where they can put a halt to it if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when I say halt, no, they not God. They can't stop, every single thing that's going on. But I'm saying they can stop it from the standpoint of, hold up, little homie. Let's find out what's going on. Or, man, you know what? That ain't even that serious. You would be surprised at what a phone call can solve. You would be surprised at what a one phone call, how it can stop so much confusion and drama, yet we never picked that phone up to make that call. My bad. Egos, pride, those things are and it's unfortunate because it's only within the black community like that. Black men, we'll challenge each other so fast. We'll kill each other. We'll destroy each other without thinking twice. But you will consider before you do something to another race or nationality because you'll be thinking about them consequences.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think about the when you look at people? I'm word this right because I don't want to get too far into it. But people, if you go up to Chicago when somebody died, they would celebrate their death, right? And they would smoke on whatever, all that talk. Well, you hear the other day online it's saying, "Fuck the dead baby." How did we get to this point, man? Where it's okay to celebrate people's death and smoke on people, you know what I mean? What made us get to this point? When did it get this bad? Because at the end of the day, it was unheard of before the internet. You didn't hear it. Somebody might have been doing it, but it wasn't so published in our face. When you hear somebody say, "Fuck a 5-year-old girl," that just died, and a dead daddy, and all that. When did we get to this point, man?
So let me first start with saying this. We are all individuals. no one person gonna do what everybody else would do. You know, let me make sure I say we are all
Definitely,
individuals. The next thing I want to say is it's also gonna depend on the pair of lenses that you're looking at this through. You know, you gonna have some people on one hand saying, "Hey, man, the daddy put the baby in that situation."
Correct,
So
correct.
if the dad is saying it, I'm just saying what the dad is saying. Then you gonna have the other people who gonna say, "Well, no matter what happened, you're not supposed to say this." So that's why I'm saying it depends on the lenses that you are looking, you know, through this at. You know, me, where I'm from, coming up on, it's not something that Brewster would do. But who is Brewster to say why you wouldn't be doing it?
Yeah.
And this is 2025. Internet is the quickest way for individuals to get money. So if I know being polarizing, you know, is going to push me to being able to get to do that, that's what they're going to use.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I just sometimes some Kiki said last time he was here. Man, I wish I could talk to Mark Zuckerberg or one of them guys. Just tell them to shut it off. You know, just shut certain people channel off or certain things off. You know, I wish there was a cap on it. But then the freedom of speech thing becomes a thing as well, where each individual has their own setup, their own platform, their own, and everybody, not just me. It ain't just boss talk.
Everybody
got a cell phone and can go to work. And if you don't, now when you get of age, that's the first thing you do. Man, Mama, can I get an Instagram? Mama, can I get a
Facebook, TikTok,
can I get
YouTube?
A TikTok?
Yeah.
This is a thing that people are doing everywhere. So,
well, it's a form of, in today's time, in 2025, because I tell people that's coming home from prison and guys that's in the street, one of the quickest ways for you to get money is this tool right here that's in your hand. This right here, used properly, can get you a whole lot of money. Now, there's other individuals who have identified that within our culture, negativity sells. You know how they say sex sells? Well, negativity and drama sells.
Definitely.
So they're going to create it enough to where it's allowing them to, receive some paper from it.
Yeah, shock value.
Shock
clickbait.
Value, clickbait. Those are just the tools that whoever that person is. Yeah, they using them tools to be able to get them some paper.
I think it's like I said. I definitely think it's unfortunate, but then also. I just did a review on this last night where they cut the baby mama, the little daughter, and I'm not gonna stay on this too much longer, but they basically they had built her up to $53,000 on a GoFundMe, and then they I think she or somebody ended up shutting it down, but the people were criticizing her online because she was online with a lot of money to her ear, and she was celebrating the life of her daughter when they did the release of the balloons, and a lot of people was really bashing her for the way she was celebrating the life of her daughter, I guess is what I called it.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, some people calling it ratchet. Some people were saying this not the time for that. She took that money and she had a Louis V purse and she was flexing.
Right.
And they was really upset about that. I think Charlamagne even said something about it from what I'm hearing. I hadn't heard it, but somebody hit me up and said, man, he spoke on that. They was upset about that.
But she also mentioned what she said, though. Not only because she was holding the money, but didn't you tell me that she also said that she had that baby, she'll go have another one type of thing?
I heard that too. But
so let me say this. Everybody is online condemning the woman. Mm-hmm. Everybody is online talking down on her, got something to say. Why everybody ain't telling her we love you, man? Why everybody ain't telling her it's gonna be okay? Why everybody ain't trying to console her and beat her for her? Because granted, everybody do grieve however they see fit.
Right.
But my thing is, if everybody all these people that's online with all the negativity to say, if all of them say I love you, I think it'll humble her. She dealing with a lot of grief right now, and so the only way she know how to be able to defend, her daughter's honor and her baby daddy, she gonna stand.
Turn up.
I'm gonna turn up. I'm not gonna lay down. And she comes from a lifestyle of laying down. That's seen as a sign of weakness. Mm-hmm. So in her mind, I'm doing this for my baby daddy and my daughter. I'm gonna rep for them. So my thing is, do I agree with the method? No. But when I see it, my thing is to say, I love you, baby girl. It's gonna be all right. The streets is here for you. The community is here. Because us tearing her down, that ain't gonna do nothing but make her stand even stronger because, you know, she can't go shoot nobody. She ain't got nobody to go beat up on. She ain't got no way to get this out. The only way I know to get it out is to rap. Let's go live.
Yeah.
Take a shot. Let's do this.
For the baby.
That's the only way I know how to rep and go live.
And I thought about the fact of how it was definitely some people going back and forth with Get Money, Lil Ronnie, and there was some stuff going on, and she might feel like if I don't show up and show strong, it look like I'm letting them down.
So from what Brewster saw, when I saw it, I was like, man, somebody need to give baby girl a hug. She need a hug. She need to know that the community is behind her. She needs to know that, man, we actively working on different ways to be able to prevent things like this taking place in our community. You know what I'm saying? Us turn her down, I just ain't on that. Wow. I just ain't on turn down the young lady. Yeah. Do I agree with what she's doing? No, but I do know it's a different way for us to reach out to her and be able to talk to her and hold her. Because she gon' rep.
Yeah.
Man, if something happened to me, mine is gonna rep. They standing on. Boy, listen, if something happens to me, my family, they gonna stay. They gonna rep. They gonna know like, we ain't laying it down like that over here crying and destroy. Especially in the public. When we out in public, you sure enough better poke your chin. Yeah. What it do? Take a shot. Yeah, you better. You know what I'm saying? She gonna rep even harder when in all honesty. Man, that woman going through all types of things on the inside. She hurting. So everybody that's talking negative, send her a DM and say I love you. Send a DM and say it's gonna be okay.
I agree.
We quick to tear each other down, man. But at this point, and yes, I see what she's doing, but I also see that she just need a big hug from not one or two people, from the whole city. The whole Metroplex need to give her a big hug.
I agree with that.
I gotta ask you this right now. Okay, so when you were in prison, because I know you have the big reform now, but when you were in prison, did you have or did you see anybody who came into your prison trying to do what you're doing right now?
Not at all. When I was incarcerated, they wouldn't even let nobody of my caliber come back in there. So, that's just a testament to the elevation of the agency of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. They've really stepped it up and found a unique way to introduce rehabilitation, introduce programming. That's just a testament to the leadership within the agency as far as allowing individuals with lived experience such as myself to be able to come back in and impact them. Right. Because it's the truth of the matter is someone with lived experience has a better shot at impacting them than say the warden. As an inmate, former inmate myself, my mindset gonna be that's the warden, you the law, move around. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say, you the law. Versus Brewster coming in here and talking to you, you more inclined to be like, oh, okay, this one of us right here. What's up, homie? What's the business? Because I tell people, I never shy away from the fact that I'm from the culture. I want you to know I'm from the culture, but being from the culture doesn't have to be a negative thing. Hip-hop music doesn't necessarily have to be seen as so derogatory, bad. For me, I love hip hop,
right?
And that's why I go into the institutions like, you can have all this, bro. That don't mean that you a criminal or that you doing something wrong or bad, But I most definitely want to attest me being able to impact the institutions around the country to the leadership and the administration, and them being able to see the vision in which I've been trying to bring to the table, because what I'm doing is different. It is unique, and it's a chance that they've taken, right. And it's been working in our favor.
And since you broke through the door like how you did with creating this, have you seen other organizations actually step up to try to do what you're doing now, to try to, because there's so many prisons around,
right.
And there's so many cities and states that you can't touch everybody and stuff like that. So have anybody else stepped up and said, okay, I'm going to do this over here and I'm going to do that over here and stuff like that?
So we've always had volunteers to be able to come in, you know what I'm saying? But it's been other organizations as far as, they come in and impact them or whatnot, but to be able to do it in the degree that I'm doing it, that's going to come with time, because you have to build up that trust and that credibility within the agency for them to even be willing to take that type of chance on you.
Tell me, okay, break that down. Tell me what you mean by the difference of how they do it compared to how you do it, because I don't know.
Okay, I'm finna break. So we have regular volunteers who just come in. Mm-hmm. They've never been in trouble before. So they come in with the clear thought of doing right, you know, changing your life, you can do better, versus someone such as myself who spent time in the institution, meaning I know all the games that's played in here. I've been an active participant in introducing contraband into facilities, into initiating game banging, into initiating heart checking this guy. I really come from that. So them taking a chance on letting me back into the institution is kind of like, well, we got to make sure this guy's not running no con. We have to make sure that this guy's not really, you know, passing messages through the gangs, or he may be the one that's introducing the drugs into our facility. It takes them a while to be able to vet you. It could be anywhere from 5 to 10 years of you being vetted before you've given the opportunity to be able to impact the institution in the way you want to. Not only that, but the way you conduct and carry yourself. I often tell people it's a time and a place to cut it on and off. So granted, when we in the hood, yeah, baby, whoop de woo, 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 woo. Versus when we're moving it more into a professional setting where we're dealing with wardens and directors, you want your wordplay to be able to represent that, meaning your vocabulary is enhanced enough to be able where you're not talking and every other word is my nigga, nah, whoop. You have to have an on and off switch.
Right.
So to be able to do what I'm doing, and this is not to toot my own horn, mm-hmm. This is for me learning from those that I get to see do it. You know, I'm a sponge of the game, so I like to sit back and soak it up. And I honestly believe one of my most effective tools into doing what I've been able to do is me being able to cut it on and off. Mm-hmm. Being able to be professional, then I can get, you know, turned up on the rec yard with the guys. I can go in here and talk that talk on the rec yards and then go up here and have a professional meeting about peer support, conflict resolution, and things along those lines. I really think my unique approach and being able to cut it on and off is what allows me to do it at a high level.
So when you go in there, you don't just go in there and go into the room and just make a speech to everybody. You actually get to go out there on the rec yard and speak to everybody. So
each institution is a different experience.
Okay.
But when the big reform movement pulls up to this institution, we here to impact the whole institution, meaning I'm going to get here at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. We're not leaving till 5 this evening. I want to be able to touch individuals that are especially like in solitary confinement, guys who've been locked behind them doors 15, 20, 30 years. I can't express to you what it means for somebody to come back there to that SEG who ain't seen a Miss Jamaica in 20 years. Mm-hmm. To see Miss Jamaica standing at that door, I can't express the motivation and inspiration that it's going to give that guy that's sitting behind them doors. So when I go to the institutions, I understand the importance of going to SEG. I understand the importance of really sitting down and having a real conversation with you. I understand the dynamics of what's really taking place in the institution because I was in there. So I'm able to impact it in a way that a regular person who's never done this before, you're not going to be able to go in here and impact them the way Brewster can. You don't have the same experiences as I do.
And then I got to ask you this. So I know you've been to many institutions with a big reform. Are there, although you're vetted with some, are there some that you still can't get into? Have you like tried and not been able to get into?
Nah. Relationships are worth more than money. We often hear that, but I don't think people understand the value of it. And the first time I ever made some real money, it came from me being willing to do more than what the job is required. Too often so I tell people because they think it's about the money. Well, I don't get paid every prison I go into. So if I don't get paid, does that mean I'm not going to go into prison? No. Whether I'm getting paid or not, I'm going into the prison because this is my passion and this is my purpose. So once I've been able to establish that, well, now the relationships, you know, I'm trying to go to Louisiana where we just call Louisiana. They'll listen to what another director or another warden is saying versus what I'm saying.
Right.
So I've been able to go to pretty much any institution that I've wanted to, but my thing is I don't have a particular unit that I want to go to. Whichever one that's available and open for me to be able to impact, that's where I'm going.
Who pays you?
Well, it could be.
Is it the prison pay you or the government pay you? I'm just curious.
So you have different nonprofit organizations that may bring you in. You have a warden that may bring you in. It's a variety of different ways that you can get paid. But it won't be from the government or nothing like how people be thinking.
Yeah.
It's not gonna go like that.
Okay,
Wow.
I was just curious.
I know you was locked up for a long time yourself. You went to that. You went up for the parole board before, and they denied you.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like getting denied? Or did you turn up after that? Because you was locked up. We're not talking about the good Brewster that's out here. I'm talking about the Brewster that got this time ahead of him, and he came up for parole, and he like, no, you ain't get it. We gonna give you we ain't give you a FI. You got a set off.
Right.
What did you think, and how did you deal with it?
So my first two times coming up, I knew I was gonna get set off.
Okay.
You know, my disciplinary record was it was out of control inside the facility, and them last two times when I came up, when they denied me, it didn't even really matter to me. At that point, you know, I understand the whole time I was incarcerated. This was my training grounds. I'm not gonna be here forever. I need to be taking full advantage of everything this institution got, from reading books, working out, talking to other guys, learning different games. So when it came time for them moments and they set me out, in my mind, I used to play these type of games with myself where they hating on me? Right on. That's what they on. Right on. Now I'm finna go even harder. Y'all gonna give me a 2-year set out. Now these 2 years, now instead of doing 500 squats, now I'm finna be doing 1,000. Instead of just reading two books a week, now I'm finna start reading 4. Y'all wanna hold me longer? Okay. The longer y'all hold me, the more it's gonna cost y'all, because I'm steady getting lava and lava and lava. I was preparing for my freedom. So I never had a time where I was kind of like, man, they set me out, so...
Damn. Was you ever in there and a ride or something jumped off, or not a ride? Gas was shot up in there on you.
Oh yeah, several times.
What was your first thoughts? I mean, and does flushing the toilet work?
That most definitely works. Flushing that toilet with your head in there, it most definitely works. But it most definitely works when they shooting that gas in there.
Yeah.
But when that gas first hits you, gonna call for your mama.
Is that what happened? But first time, give me a first time.
Mama! you gonna go to holler for mama, boy. Snot gonna go in, but the gas real now. Don't let these guys play with you.
They threatening to throw the gas. Niggas, stop fighting automatically.
Hey, they gonna pulling out that gas. Hold up, man. What they on? Don't let these gangsters come up here and act like they bucking that gas.
They not bucking that gas.
They'll come up here, man. We fading the gas. Boy, they pop that gas. It gonna get real in there.
I want to ask you about Suge Knight, man. He was denied after going back before the courts to try to overturn a 28-year sentence, man. Uh-huh. And that's what made me think about just set off, being set off. That was a tough move for him, but to bring it back up, trying to get it, back in the courts, to get it back in the courts, mm-hmm. and then to be denied, being, let back out in the, because he wanted to show it as an accident, you know what I mean, instead of something that was literally being done.
I really don't know how many case, but I will say this, man. When you dealing with the judicial system, man, you gotta shut your mouth up and get up off them cameras and sit down somewhere, man. You can't be still acting like you got a hold of the game. You know what I'm saying? You have to sit down and get all the way off their radar.
Because the courts see that too. They can see
the same way we see it.
They watching the podcast.
They watching the podcast and everything too. The same way we finna sit here and watch this here. Man, the judge, the lawyers, all them finna sit up and watch it too. They
watching all of.
So,
he was on Breakbeat. He had a whole episode. I enjoyed it. On Breakbeat, he called in him and Cat Williams, all kind of stuff.
It's it's cool to keep his name alive or whatnot, but if it's me personally, if it's Brewster, I'm the one that's in there with the time, man, I'm not gonna be on no social media. I'm gonna be following all the rules and regulations. Like, is you trying to get free or is you trying to be a jailhouse legend? Which one's you trying to?
It's tough, man, because I guarantee it's tough because so many people on the outside calling him and trying to get on these podcasts. They want him on these podcasts.
How
man.
they calling him?
Well, he reaching out to them for sure.
Okay,
he reaching out for them for sure because they got a lot of friends, man. Yeah. He calling Cat, he calling. I know some of the people he reaching out and they connected, man.
Yeah, like, it's cool to be. You ain't too connected. You still sitting in that prison. You ain't too connected.
Boy, that damn prison is a trip, ain't it, man?
I tell people, man, that prison is his own world.
Yeah.
And they don't care about how much money you got and how many people you done shot, and they don't care about none of that. They got a whole different set of rules and regulations in that criminal justice department.
What was the biggest surprising person you seen coming in? Like, damn, you in here? You know what I'm saying?
Believe it or not, I done seen so many different people inside
You
the
damned them
institution.
enough. I'm like, damn, they got you.
I don't be surprised about seeing individuals. The only thing that surprises me when I'm inside the institutions is the state in which the homies be. You know, the homies inside them institutions, man, they in there getting high, zombied out, you know, mental health issues. It be a lot taking place in them institutions, and for me, that be the most saddest part, because I'm like, man, you supposed to be using this opportunity to get your game together. The family, because I always tell them, right now in this rec yard, you will die for the set. You ain't got no choice. Right now, if a racial riot happen, you ain't got no choice. You will die here.
That's right.
But you ain't willing to live for the family.
No, you right. And then going to that infirmary, you know, that was
It's real down there.
It's real down there.
It's a different world down there.
It's a whole different world.
And if you ain't built like that, you're going to get swallowed whole.
That's right. That's right.
Since you've been in the male prisons, and I know with the reform, you've been in the female prisons too. What have you learned that's the differences between the male prisons and female prisons? What, as in what happens?
Oh no, they getting dealt with the same way the men getting dealt with. Ain't no difference inside them institutions with men or women. Prison is prison on both sides. It ain't no difference. Ain't no favoritism.
The same stuff happen in both.
Oh yeah, it's going down in both the same way.
What's a story that have you heard any stories that actually, because you be acting like you just hardcore. I'm like, have you heard of any stories like when you get in there and people telling you things that they're going through or things that they went through that landed them in prison or just whatever you heard that really just touched your heart? Tell me one from the female prison and one from the male prison.
I can't really say one from the men's prison, but from the women's prison, I've had to experience a young lady being in there. She was pregnant, having a baby, and when she had the baby, they took the baby. Mm-hmm. She never even got the opportunity to, kick it with the baby or nothing. As soon as she had the baby, they took it. That probably was the most thing that shocked me, and outside of death row. So you know what? It's a dude named Garcia White that was executed for the men. Mm-hmm. But before they executed him, I got a chance to speak to him. You know what I'm saying? And of course, he already knew who I was, what I do, or whatnot. And on this part of death row right here, when they put you on this wing right here, you within about 30 days to 6 months of you already got a date. Mm-hmm. So when I go back here to talk to him, he was in good spirits and everything. But I asked him if it was one thing you could tell the little homies, what would it be?
What he said? And
he looked at me, and I'll never forget, bro said this. He said, man, I want you to tell them little homies out there that before they do something, I don't want them to think once or twice. I want them to think 5 or 6 times, because once you do this, ain't no coming back from this. He say the next thing is, I want you to tell them youngsters, man, learn to forgive each other. Because if they don't, they'll end up in a spot right here with me.
Wow.
That right there rattled me in a different kind of way, because he was dying within 30 days. Garcia White, he's already been executed. But to have just got to mess with him like that and see his mental state, that was different for me. And
do you know what his crime was?
I don't. So anytime I'm inside the institutions,
talk about it.
I don't care to know what your case is. I don't want to prejudge you. I don't want to be involved in your case in no shape, form, or fashion. My job is just to simply come in here and allow you to see that, hey, man, transformation can take place. Because if you don't see it, you may be under the impression that it can't happen. You reading them books in there, them Irving novels, but we ain't never really seen a gangbanger change his life and really be successful. Well, I'm going to come in here and show you that you can really change.
But I love the fact that you still spoke to a person who that even although he might change in prison, he's not getting out. He's going to, he's marching to his death because he's on death row.
That was different.
That's the part that I like, because somebody who's doing what you're doing would have said, well, he ain't coming out. He gonna die. So why am I trying to even help him? You know what I mean? But for the main fact that you still spoke to him to try to give him some sort of hope, I like that.
Yeah, Garcia White and a dude named Steven Nelson. They've both been executed, but I've had a chance to kick it with both of them, and it was a different experience. But they both was executed within the last 6 months. One in November, and then one just this past February 4th.
Do you think you could sit down and actually watch an execution?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, for the experience of it, I would, because...
Have you ever?
I haven't.
Okay.
But I will say this, granted, if you on death row, you ain't get there just to get there. Mm-hmm. You know, now granted, there's some people that's innocent. You know, like I say, I don't know the details of an individual's case. That's neither here nor there for me. But once you make it there, I know you done something to get here.
But it changes, because I know things and times has changed where that is concerned, but I know I read an article the other day. It showed, this was black and white, this little kid who actually, I think he was the youngest kid who actually was executed for an incident. They said that he had killed this little white girl or something like that, but years later, now they found out that he didn't do it.
So let me make sure, I believe all systems are flawed, meaning that somewhere along the lines, you know what I'm saying, I don't think it's just straight cookie cutter, like everything is straight lace. So I believe there are individuals that are innocent that's been incarcerated. There are individuals who got the short end of the stick, per se. But I also know that it's important to ask individuals like them who's sitting on death row, they thought process, and if it was something they could change, what would it be? Because that puts me in a position to be able to tell our youth, like them two youngsters that did that with Lil Ronnie, and I would have gave anything to been able to tell them, now before y'all do this, I want y'all to know that in the great state of Texas, capital murder, if you're found guilty, you're given the death penalty. I would have gave anything to be able to tell those two little boys that, because I know they wasn't even thinking about that. And I tell people how ironic it is that one of those little boys was caught in Livingston, Texas.
Right.
Guess what's in Livingston, Texas?
What?
Death row. I found it very ironic that one of the young men was arrested in Livingston, Texas. And guess what is in Livingston, Texas, Miss Jamaica?
Death row.
Death row. I would have gave anything to be able to tell those two little boys, like I stop and tell all youngins that's in them streets, homie, that one split decision will cost you the rest of your entire life. And I swear to you, 5 to 10 years from now, you won't even be thinking like that. And
they said one of them had never been in trouble before.
I'm not sure. It was just breaking. It was just breaking news that one of them was apprehended in Livingston. Right. When I said Livingston, Texas.
Right. I saw the video.
I say, homie they must don't know what's in Livingston, Texas. What they were doing out there?
They don't.
Because that's where death row at. And in the great state of Texas, capital murder, they give you capital punishment out here.
Wow. And that's and hey, listen, man. What was done is done, and I hate that for him, but the way it was done is horrible,
no, you gotta
bro.
pay. So you most definitely have to pay for that.
For
you know what I'm saying? For your actions. You know what I'm saying? Despite me believing that wasn't meant for that little girl, the fact remains she was murdered. Mm-hmm. So you're most definitely going to have to pay for those actions. But my thing is that, I want other youngsters to be able to see this and use this as a moment to learn from.
Come on.
This is a teachable moment for the community, especially for our little homies. You see this? We gotta stop giving little homies bad game. Let me give you some good game by explaining to you. If you murder someone like this in the great state of Texas, homie, they're gonna catch you. It's 60 cameras right here. Just coming in here to do that interview, this interview, we saw at least 30, 40 cameras. Mm-hmm. There's nothing that you're doing that's not, they not going.
There's cameras everywhere.
There's cameras everywhere. On top of it being cameras everywhere, homie, you just made a split-second decision that's finna cost you everything, bro. I always tell people, man, I spent almost 14 years in prison for a crime that didn't even involve $2,000-$3,000. Once you snap to what you doing, the consequences versus what you getting out of it, it don't even add up
At all.
I went to prison at 17 and didn't come home till I was 32 behind $1,500, $2,000 at the most.
Wow.
The whole time I was in prison, all I could think was, bro, you down here. What you came to prison for, you could have just went and got a job and made that money.
But when you talk to these young kids, though, their ego is so big and built up. Oh, I don't care. I'll go to prison for that, or I'll die for this, or I'll.
They say that till they get there.
all of that stuff.
No. That's because the reason they talking like that, because the person they look up to talking like that. See, they gonna always highlight the kids that's like that, but I know it's a whole bunch of kids that's getting up going to school. They gonna go crazy if they disappoint their mama and daddy. Mm-hmm. They doing everything they can to go graduate school. They trying to go on trips. So all of our kids are not just kids who won't listen. They won't listen to you because you's a clown versus somebody that they got real respect for, real admiration, real love. They'll listen to them. And just because they don't respond right then don't mean they didn't listen to you.
That's true.
They gonna be acting like they ain't You know how many times some dudes was telling me something and I was acting like, man, he ain't talking about nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But when he left later on that day, I was sitting there like, damn, that made sense what he said. So never underestimate the power of your words to one of these youngsters. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You just got to be the right person talking to these youngsters. Mm-hmm. You know, if you ain't really built like that and you up here trying to talk to them, they going to be looking at you like, okay, who is you? What you do?
Wow, man. I'm gonna bring a lighter note. You took Dak Prescott into the prisons. You took Bebe into the prison. You've done things to help the communities with Yellow Beezy and a host of others, man. What's on the agenda for 2025? And I know you went up to New York here recently, but and you started the year off right. I watch that kind of stuff because that's what I'll be doing, trying to figure out how we gonna keep the movement going. Mm-hmm. But what we looking for, coming these the second, third, and fourth quarter.
The second and third and fourth quarter gonna all be about continued growth, continuing to stay away from the controversy. I tell people I don't really do controversy because it takes away from the real work that we really putting in the community. We want to continue to grow as far as building relationships, continuing to allow individuals to get inside the institutions and be able to help the homeless. Those are the two biggest things. And then I'll be dropping my third book, Big Reform, Finding Your Purpose. That's my third book. Wow. It'll be coming out this year. We working on that. We got the merch, Big Reform gear. And the merch is just really a whole lot of positive affirmations for individuals while you able to look fly. Things like stop giving little homies bad games. So
I want to make sure we bring it into the store like I did with Kiki. So we got to be here so when people come.
I got you. I'm going to make sure that I get that merch in there.
I'm definitely going to buy it.
Do you have that saying? Because earlier when you said that saying, I'm like, dang, you need to put it on a shirt. The fact that you said, you'll die for me, but will you live for me?
That's
have
nice.
that on
Miss Jamaica just made it official, man.
You need to put that on that
go
shirt.
Get that.
That's hard.
I got you. Miss Jamaica just made it official. See, you blessed.
That's hard, bro.
I know why you successful.
I thank God for it. No,
I know why he's successful.
You're 100% right, man.
I know he ain't denied. He did rubber clean it up.
Because I know what God did. I ain't gonna. That'd be like denying God done did what he done. So I gotta stand on that.
No, but
I gotta definitely. I gotta stay on point on the fact of those people that you brought in, all the stuff that you done, man. How do you connect with these people? People ask me that all the time, so I gotta ask you, like, how do you meet these people that you taking in these? How do you take a Dak Prescott? How do you meet a little Kiki and take him into the facility and spend the day with him like you doing? A lot of people would aspire to do something on that level.
Believe it or not, all those individuals, those just be organic relationships.
Okay.
I be out in the culture. I'm at shows. You'll see me anywhere. You someone who reach out to me and you really credible. Now, I'm not going to just take any and everybody in there. You most definitely have to be somebody that's credible and someone that I deem fit to just really be about impacting them guys. But a lot of those relationships are just organic. Wow. They just happen to like what I do, and
that's dope,
you are an ex-felon. But if you have somebody that you want to take in there and they're, people would look up to them and they're also an ex-felon, how hard would that be? Because you're vetted and everybody know you, but how hard would it be for you to carry someone who is a celebrity but an ex-felon in there?
So it wouldn't be hard. It's just that I'll be putting my name and my credibility on the line. So that's something that I've worked, so hard in building that it's not something that I'm gonna jeopardize. If they tell me like, well, Brewster, we don't really want that person, hey,
right.
For me to push the issue, you're gonna have to be somebody important. I ain't just gonna be pushing the issue because my thing is I love being able to take different people in there because I know of the influence and the impact. But at the end of the day, if I don't take nobody but myself in there, the results. Big. Yeah, the results is gonna be about impact. Mm-hmm. So whoever you are, if it doesn't make sense as far as being able to impact them, then I ain't gonna care to take you because it's way bigger than just a few pictures and some, making it look good for Instagram, man. We really want to go in here and show the homies how, changing your life can really make you successful. I want the homies to see change. I'm more successful now changing my life than I ever was when I was living like that. So I want the homies to see that. So if you're not somebody of that cloth, then I doubt I'd be taking you in there.
That's real. Let's talk about the music, man. I know my boy Lil Kiki dropped Legend Hotel, man.
Hey, man, let me talk to him. Hold up, can we play? We can't play no music on here. Okay.
But I know you were banging it when you pulled up.
Let me talk to him.
He heard it.
I told him, I said, that's my boy. He banging that Lil Kiki.
You better know
I said that. I said, go let him in.
Yeah, you better know.
We banging that Lil Kiki. So
that's what we jam down south.
Man, we love it, man. Like, just how important and how big is that being bonding with him? Because he was one of the first guys that told me I had to interview you. Just LD and him, like, you got to interview him. Why y'all ain't got together? Man, you know how they are. Yeah. And I'm like, shit, I don't know, but at the end of the day, like how big was that? You and him just building this relationship. Did you ever see that coming?
Man, to be honest, I never saw it coming. And the relationship with him is so genuine and so organic. And just the knowledge and the game that he give me more than anything, he exposed me to just different insight that I wouldn't necessarily be able to get if I wasn't with him or if I wasn't around him to be able to see how he do this and why he think this way. I'm like, oh, that did make sense. And so for me, he got a little saying when you see that at the table with winners, you catch winning conversations.
That's real. That's real.
So it be more about the knowledge and the game that's being conversed more than anything. That's the biggest thing about being with Key, man. Bro most definitely will expose you to the knowledge, the information, the connections. It's just gonna be on you to put it together.
Wow, and same. I say the same question with LD. I know you support him. Last time I seen you down there when he had his, not this last, but he put him out. So the project before this last one in Longview, when he was down there, and you supporting him, and y'all support each other, man. Like, how big is that to come from where y'all come from and where we come from, and to be able to link up like that, and just be able to see the city show him love like
show him love like. Well, what make the relationship with LD so live is that bro used to really be sitting in them day rooms beating on them tables.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of dudes that was in prison beating on them tables and came out here and ain't made not one CD.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? 300 is somebody who was really in the trenches inside those facilities. So for him to be able to come out and use his musical talent to begin to build a career outside of the game banging, outside of the streets, man, that within itself is a success.
Man, you said a mouthful, man. And like I said, it's just been a special treat, dealing with y'all and just seeing all of the way God moving in your life, man. That's special to me. That's confirmation to me to see after all these years that people there is a purpose out here, and there are good people out here who are not going into recidivism and going back into those doors. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
Not for the wrong reason.
There you go. I was just finna run it down to you. Okay, clean it up, because I go back in there, but I go through the front doors and I go on my terms.
Come on, man.
Yes,
That's
sir.
dope, man. Thank you so much, man. Man, anything? Did we leave anything out?
Say, I need you to make sure that you tell the platform to lock in with that reformgear.com.
Come on, man. Reform Gear.
Then I need them to lock in on my YouTube.
Gotta do that.
Reform TV. And tap in with the movement, man. They saying they rock with the big reform, man. You do that by like, sharing, subscribing. Like, sharing, subscribing.
That's
Like,
hard.
sharing, subscribing. Like,
Yes,
sharing,
sir.
subscribing.
Man, man, that's
I
it
just
right
did
there.
your promo,
I
man.
love it, man.
That's 10,000 for that
Say,
promo.
man, you know I agree with you. I got you. You always gonna have some money. You know what I'm talking? Man, thank you so much. We love you, man. Boss man, we appreciate
it's love,
you.
bro.
Man, just the way you get down, bro. I don't have nobody coming on here that really doing the work you doing. It's definitely a delight for this channel, man. So thank you so much, man. We gonna continue to do whatever you need us to do, however we need to do it to play part.
I need you to make sure.
We talked about the camera thing, but that's something.
No. I need you to make sure that when you bring these guys through here, when they pull up in the city of Dallas, they know about that big reform move.
We got to get that
leave.
merch in here, and we can play games, man. You know what I'm saying? Boss Talk 101, man. My boy Bossman Brewster, man. Y'all stop playing. Y'all know what just went down, man. Miss Jamaica, we did it again.
Yes, sir.
Boss Talk 101, what a boss is talk.
And we out.